dear friends, colleagues, participants of this workshop. It's again a wonderful privilege to meet you again on this platform. Yesterday it was a very rewarding session for me. I hope it was rewarding for you as well. And today's session is not a continuation of what we were discussing yesterday. Today we will be looking at academic writing and publishing, fact and fiction. So when you look at the title, I'm sure you will know that I'm going to tell you something about the myths and the reality, fact and fiction. As we were discussing yesterday, our topic, our webinar is all about academic writing from two perspectives. One, academic writing regarding the arts and humanities, and two, academic writing in the Indian scenario. So definitely, again, today too, I will be looking at this academic writing and publishing. First, from one perspective, and secondly, from the Indian perspective. So first, we will be looking at academic writing as it concerns arts and humanities subjects. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. I will explain. See, when we undergo training, or when we attend webinars or workshops or actual seminars on academic writing, the methodology, workshops on research writing and publishing, most often what we find is the resource person will be a person from the science stream or a librarian, and most of the discussion that will be happening there, will have very little to do with us. Of course, we know that we have to learn these things because our teachers, our professors, our head of the departments, our management, principal, they're all telling us about these things. We hear things like impact factor, H-index, DOI, so many technical terms we hear. And when we attend these webinars as well, when we attend these conferences and seminars on research methodology and publishing as well, we hear these things, but the difference is those things are usually spoken from the perspective of the sciences or the social sciences. And there will be one or two statements at the end where they will say that in the arts and humanities as well, this is the same thing that is happening. You have to publish like this, you have to do this, do that. So this is what is happening. And so ultimately what happens is we get very little authentic information regarding academic writing and publishing as it concerns the arts and humanities subjects, as it concerns the arts and humanities researchers. So because of that, there has been a lot of confusion. There has been a lack of understanding among the academic circles as to what we need to do and what we shouldn't be doing. So I would like to clarify some of those confusions. I like to answer some of those gnawing problems, gnawing questions that most researchers will have. Most researchers in the arts and humanities streams will have regarding research writing and publishing. So first of all, I would like to look at the issue of impact factor and H-index. Everywhere we hear these terms, and academic writing and publishing, as far as we are told, we understand that academic writing and publishing are all about impact factors and H-index. They tell us we have regulations from the university. Researchers will know that they have to publish their papers. They have to publish. If you are doing a PhD, you will have to get 2 of your papers published in journals with good impact factor. and you should have a good H index. And if you are working in a college, if you are working in any academic institution, the management, the principal, they will all be, encouraging us, motivating us to publish our papers, to publish our research in good reputed journals. And for them, good reputed journals means journals with good impact factor, journals with good and thereby we have to develop a good H index for ourselves. And we feel constrained because when we look at our colleagues from the sciences, when we look at our colleagues from the social sciences, we hear from them that they are able to publish their papers in journals with good impact factor. And when we try to do that, when the arts and humanities researchers try to do the same thing, we are encountering a lot of problems. First, we don't know which journal to publish. And then we get a lot of emails. I'm sure every one of you will be receiving a lot of emails, especially these days, because you register your names for various webinars, and these people somehow steal these email addresses. And so what happens, our email addresses go to these fraudulent journals, and we get a lot of advertisements, a lot of emails, a lot of WhatsApp messages telling us to publish our papers in their journals. They will speak about very high impact factor, 5.5, 4.65, very high impact factor journals, and they are inviting us to publish in their journals. We get a feeling, oh my God, am I so brilliant? Am I so famous that these journals with such high impact factor are emailing me personally, messaging me personally, asking me to publish in their journals? We feel flattered. We feel like we are on cloud nine. But actually, when we try to publish our articles with these journals, we will start hearing certain not so good things. They will tell us about a contribution. They will tell us about publishing fees. They will tell us about certain charges which they never mentioned earlier. And because we pledged ourselves, because we submitted our paper, because we told our friends that, okay, finally I'm going to get my paper published in a reputed journal, we cannot back off. We have no choice but to get it published. And then it's all in their hands. You pay 5,000 rupees, 7,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees, 30,000 rupees. Recently, a person was telling me, she's not from arts and humanities, but she was telling me from computer science, she had to pay 1,50,000 rupees to get a paper published in a journal. And she still did that because of not having that publication, her PhD awarding, the procedures are being postponed. So this is what is happening. A lot of money is involved, a lot of advertisement, a lot of marketing, and we actually do not know what to do. Because from one side, we hear these are the best journals to publish. On the other hand, some people tell us about UGC care journals, care listed journals. And then somebody will be telling you that, no, it is care journals are not good. They are carelessly prepared. They are not UGC care journals. They are UGC careless journals. So we hear all these things. And as researchers, as teachers, where will we get answers to these questions? Which are those journals? What is an ideal impact factor for me to publish my paper? Which are the journals that will publish without taking money? Which are the journals that will not go out of UGC care list? I may get my paper published in a UGC care listed journal, and 2 months later, somebody tells me, no, UGC has deleted that journal from their list. They have removed that journal from my list. And the UGC says, no, we cannot do anything. That journal is not good. So if you publish your paper there, your paper is gone. So what to do? How can we judge? And who is the authority in telling us which is the right thing? There is a UGC website for authentic journals, but there are many other websites which look far better than the UGC CARE website, which will tell you a lot more things about UGC CARE listed journals. So we are totally confused. We don't have any idea how to proceed. So first, I would like to tell you some theory, because only if we understand the basics of these things, we will be able to proceed to understand which are the journals we have to publish, where we can publish. My aim is to make sure that at the end of today's lecture, you should know which are the journals where you can publish for free. You should know which are the journals which are authentic. You should know what is impact factor, what is H-index, and how or why it should matter to you. These are the things I want to tell you today. So for that, first we need to have a very clear understanding of impact factor. H-index is, I will explain that as well. But first, let us look at journal impact factor. Everybody tells us about publishing our papers in journals with good impact factor. 4, 5, they are telling us, see, somebody is messaging on chat box that they are asking you money. 2 years, I paid rupees 5,000. 5,000 is nothing, dear man. It is going to 50,000 and 30,000 these days. So what is this journal impact factor? I'm not going into much theory, just for our basic understanding. What is impact factor? Impact factor is the measure of the frequency with which an average article in a journal has been cited in a particular year. Okay, I will explain once more. Journal impact factor is the measure of the frequency. Measure, it's a number, it's a measurement of what? Of the frequency, the number of times with which the average article means any one of the articles in that journal, has been cited in a particular year. Cited, C-I-T-E-D. It is not about citing in any other sense. It is not S-I-G-H-T-A-N-G. It is C-I-T-A-N-G, citing. Yesterday we talked about getting citations, getting cited, getting our paper cited in an article. So journal impact factor is about the average number of citations that any article in a journal receives in a particular year. To make it simpler, I will give you an example. Suppose we have a journal called English Language Studies. Just an example, a journal called English Language Studies. And in the year 2019, that journal published 50 articles. 50 articles were published by that journal. And total, that journal received 1,000 citations. Just an example, 1,000 citations in the year 2019. So we have a journal called English Language and Literature Studies, and that journal received 1,000 citations in total in the year 2019. 1,000 citations. So because there are 50 papers, some papers may be written by somebody as prestigious as Dr. Pramod K. Nair. So what will happen? That paper is going to receive say 80 or 90 or 100 citations. And some of the papers would be written by people like us, and we may not be getting any citations. So there will be papers with 0 citations, and there will be papers with 100 or 150 citations. Anyway, in total, this particular journal in the year 2019 with 50 paper publications received 1,000 citations. So the journal impact factor for any article published in that journal will be 1,000 divided by 50. Total number of citations received in a year divided by the number of articles under consideration. This is the simple, I mean, they speak about the average that they call it, that they calculate in 2 years. We don't have to worry about any of those things. Just understand this. So 1,000 by 50. So 20 is the impact factor of that journal. 20 is the impact factor of any article published in that journal in the year 2019. So this is the simple way of understanding what impact factor is. Impact factor, it's a measurement, and it is a measurement concerning the impact that an average article published in that journal will have. And impact is all about citations. The number of, it doesn't take into account the number of people who have read your research paper. It doesn't take into account how many places this had, how many books have you have referred, or it doesn't take into consideration any awards that you received. None of those things. It is just about citations. So this is journal impact factor. And because we are talking about journal impact factor, I would like to also discuss in very brief, I would also like to tell you what H index is. If impact factor is about the journal and the articles, H index is about the author, about the person who publishes a paper in a research journal. So as per this criteria known as H index, after 20 years of research, say you are a researcher and you have been doing research for 20 years. So after 20 years of research, if you have an H index of 20, it is good, 40 is outstanding, and 60 means you are a genius. You are an outstanding academic writer. So this is the idea with H index. So 20 is good, 40 is very good, and 60 is outstanding. So the advantage of having H index is that it combines two things. It combines the productivity of me. For example, suppose I am the author. So productivity, my productivity as an author, that is the number of papers I have produced and the impact or the number of citations I have received for each paper. So two things are taken into account. Impact factor is calculated, H index is calculated over a longer period of time, and it is calculated based on two factors. One, the number of research papers I have produced, and two, the impact or the number of citations that each one of my paper has received. So this is H index, and the problem with H index is that since it is based on the number of citation a researcher receives, it is not applicable for many people who don't receive any citation. And citation is not always about the quality of your article. Citation is not about the quality of your article. I will explain. So in simple terms, H index is calculated by counting the number of publications for which a researcher has been cited by other researchers, at least that same number of times. It's very complicated. Don't worry, I will give you a simple example. If my H index is 6, suppose my H index is 6, it simply means that I have published 6 research papers that have each been cited 6 times by other researchers in my area of research. If my H index is 5, it means that my articles I mean, at least 5 of my research articles have been cited at least 5 times. This is the idea. So it is a minimum. If I may have published so many papers, but that doesn't matter. If a person who has published 1 paper and a person who has published 100 paper may have similar H index. That's the advantage of H index, because it doesn't, it takes into account both your productivity and the impact or the number of citations that you receive. Now, I have been doing research for a few years. I have been a researcher. I have published research papers, and I make it a point to publish my papers on ResearchGate, which is an indexing site, which is a very, very useful site for researchers. ResearchGate. Anybody who has an institutional email address can create an account on ResearchGate. And one good thing about ResearchGate is it won't allow everyone to get an account. It is not like Facebook. You cannot have a fake ID on ResearchGate. You have to provide documentary evidence for who you are, what type of research you do. All these things have to be well documented on ResearchGate. So what I'm trying to tell you is, I have published my papers on ResearchGate, and maybe my papers have received, I have published around 90 articles, 90 papers, and those 90 papers in total have received more than 350,000 readers, reads, more than 3 lakh reads at least. So what does this mean? 3 lakh times my articles have been read by researchers. So am I making any impact? I will feel that, okay, if my papers have been read 3 lakh times, yes, I will have some impact. But if you look at the number of citations that I received, it's a 0. It's a 0. I have received 0 citations. What does that mean? It simply means that nobody has cited me, but it also tells you something else. Most of the researchers here who have a ResearchGate account or an academia account or a Google Scholar account, you will know that the number of citations and the number of reads, all other things do not match. In other words, you don't get citations as much as your colleagues from the sciences get. They get 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 10,000 citations. A medicine-related paper, if you can write a paper related to coronavirus, you will get citations like thousands of citations in a matter of few days. Citations. It will happen because it is being read by so many people, the research community, everyone is anxious about what is happening, so it will get read. But if I write a paper on corona, I cannot write on corona and medicine. I cannot write about a medicine that I have found for corona. Maybe I can duplicate, I can have some fun, and I can say that reading is a good medicine for corona. People who read are less affected by corona. I can say something like that, but 1 or 2 people may read it and they will give me a thumbs down and my paper is finished. So we from the arts and humanities aren't going to get any citations for such verbal jugglery. So the thing is, what I am saying is, how will I get a citation? For the beginners, what is a citation? Suppose I published a paper in a journal and you read that paper and then you felt that this paper is good, or you found some idea mentioned in my paper useful, and you decided that later on, maybe years later or maybe months later, you are writing a research paper and you remembered my paper. You remembered that there was something in my research paper that you would like to quote. So what will you do? You will quote my sentence from my research paper in your research paper, And at the end of the paper, you will give a list of works cited. There you will say, okay, I have quoted this particular article written by this particular person. This is citation. But suppose if your paper is rejected, if your paper doesn't get published, then will I get a citation? You have cited it, but your paper is not published. It has been rejected. So I will not get a citation. Suppose your paper gets published, but it gets published in a print journal, and you got it published in a print journal. It's there. It is very clearly written. My name is clearly written, and you have cited it. But will it show on the internet? No, because this journal is not indexed on the internet. So again, I am not going to get a citation. So how will I get a citation? To get a citation, first you have to cite my article, and secondly, you will have to get it published. And these details should be there on the internet, and it should be referenced by the indexing site before it can be added as a citation against my name. This is how I will get one citation. To get one citation, I should do this much. Now I leave the theory, and now let me ask you this question. What should be an ideal impact factor for me to publish my article? What are you told? How much should be the impact factor of the journal in which you should publish? They tell you that for PhD, the university issues a guideline, a PDF, saying that, okay, for PhD requirement, the research scholars have to publish their research papers in journals having an impact factor not less than 2.5. Haven't you seen that? Yes, you have seen that. And you always hear about this impact factor. But let me tell you, I have told this to my friends in a recent workshop also. I discussed this idea. Let me tell you this. Please understand, if I get my paper published in a journal with an impact factor, it means that I have done something wrong. I know this is a webinar, a national webinar, and it is attended by 147 people at the moment. So you are listening to me, and I'm making a statement. I'm telling you that if I get my article published in a journal with a good impact factor, I have done something wrong. In other words, I am telling you that if your principal, if your management asks you to publish your article in a journal with an impact factor of 2.5 or 3, they are asking you to do something unethical. Remember this. I will explain. I will give you the sources as well. I will give it in the chat box so you can refer to it later. Yeah, I will explain. I will tell why they are so, why it is so. To understand this, see, the thing is, most people don't know this thing, that impact factor is not meant for arts and humanities. Let me make it very clear. For sciences, for social sciences, impact factor is very important. And it is very important that you get your paper published in a journal with a good impact factor, if you are a researcher from the sciences or the social sciences. But if you are a researcher, if you are a teacher, if your subject is arts or humanities, then you cannot get your paper published in a journal with a good impact factor without doing some malpractices. Why? Impact factor is not meant for arts and humanities journals. Impact factor is not applicable to arts and humanities journals at all. This is what I want to tell you. I will explain, and I will give you the proof. So you will ask me, sir, then why, sir? Why the UGC is telling us the same thing? The government is telling these things. The government, directives. When you apply for an assistant professorship, they ask you to present documents that prove that you have published in a journal with a good impact factor. Why the government is not seeing this? Why the UGC is not saying this? Why the teachers, why my research guide is not saying this? What is happening? Let me tell you one thing. Either they know and they are not telling you, or they do not know. And this is where the Indian scenario comes in. It is in the Indian academy that we are told about publishing in articles in journals with good impact factor. Elsewhere also they tell the same thing, but they will have a different section, different session for arts and humanities researchers. Refer the good universities, refer universities like Chicago University, Harvard University, Oxford University. They will have a separate set of guidelines for researchers from the arts and humanities. And they tell them very clearly that citation or impact factor does not apply for arts and humanities. There are certain other things you have to look for when it comes to publishing your papers. I will give you proof. I will give you the evidence for that. But before coming to that, we have to understand that to have an impact factor, a journal has to be indexed either in Scopus or in Web of Science. Understand this? Write it down if you want. No problem. It is very important. You have to tell your research guides. You have to tell everyone about this. Please understand, to have an impact factor, any journal, whether it is a good journal or a bad journal or a journal that takes money or a journal that doesn't take money, whatever journal it is, that journal has to be indexed, has to be in the database of either Web of Science or Scopus. Now, what is this Web of Science? What is this Scopus? We hear these things. Mostly we are told about Scopus, but rarely we also hear of Web of Science. Those who are familiar with UGC CARE website will know about Web of Science. And a very prestigious literature journal is being published in Web of Science. MARG, it's one of the oldest journals published in our country, MARG, a very reputed journal. They don't charge any money for publishing with them. So MARG, MARG. I think Mulk Raj Anand was associated with the beginning of that journal. There are a lot of, it's a very famous journal, MARG. And this MARG journal is part of Web of Science. It is indexed in Web of Science. But most journals that we come to know are associated with Scopus. I will tell you about this Web of Science and Scopus. My dear friends, there is a big business happening throughout the world called the publishing industry. The publishing industry. And in this industry, 65% of investment has gone in from our country. Let's be proud of it. A lot of fake journals, 65% of fake investment, 65% of bad money, I should say black money. I don't know if it is black or white, but bad money has gone into this industry from our country. The whole world, think about the whole world, and 65% of investment into the fake publishing or predatory publishing industry has come from India. So this is a breeding ground for predatory publishers, predatory journals, predatory activities. Predator. Who is a predator? A prey and a predator. If a lion catches, if a lion kills an animal, the lion is the predator, and the animal that it kills is the prey and predator. Here, the journals are the predators and we are the preys, P-R-E-Y, prey. We can only pray to save us from these journals. because it's huge and its tentacles are so strong and so wide that it's impossible to escape from these journals. I assure you that if you have published at least 5 papers, one of your paper will be published in a fake journal, in a predatory journal. I assure you. So remove them, cut them from your profile, cut them from your list of publications. When people tell you that they have 25 publications, 100 publications, I told you that I have 90 publications. I have published in predatory journals. I have published in journals that have good impact factor. I didn't know. I thought it was the right thing to do. And I claimed, I told my students, see, I have published in a journal with such and such impact factor. But now I know that if I say that, that means that I have done something wrong. So what is happening in this industry, in this publishing industry? I will tell you the story. There are 2 big businesses in the world today. So think about the computer industry. We have Apple, we have Microsoft, and they are always in a conflict. You know, conflict means in a competition. They want to control the market. The Apple iPhone, iPad, you know, the Apple company and Microsoft company, Microsoft Corporation, they are in a perennial conflict, and they are 2 giants, 2 big multinational corporate giants. Similarly, just like we have Apple and Microsoft in the computer industry, we have 2 giant things in our journal publishing industry. And these 2 giants are Elsevier and earlier it was called Thomson Reuters. Now it is known as Clarivate Analytics. Clarivate Analytics. 2 giants. Which are they? Elsevier and Clarivate Analytics. Okay, 2 giants in the journal publishing industry in this whole world. Clarivate Analytics and Elsevier. Now, I will tell you about Elsevier. What is this Elsevier? Clarivate. Yeah, Clarivate, Clarivate, and Elsevier, Elsevier. Elsevier, you know, I will put it in the chat box. Elsevier is a Dutch publishing and analytics company. Dutch. It is based in Netherlands, in Amsterdam, in Netherlands. So Elsevier is a publishing and analytic company, and it specializes in scientific, technical, and medical content. Remember this? Elsevier company specializes in scientific, technical, and medical content. And until 2015, it was known as Reed Elsevier, R-E-E-D Elsevier, Reed Elsevier. But now it is, I'm messaging this in the chat box. You can see these things. Reed Elsevier. Now it is known as Elsevier. So this is a multinational corporate, a big company. And according to estimates, its profit is over 1,000 million pounds. So don't think that Elsevier is doing things for the benefit of the people. It's a non-governmental organization or non-profit organization. No, it's a profit-making company like Apple, like Microsoft. It's a profit-making company. And in 1 year, its average profit is 1,000 million pounds. Okay. And this Elsevier, in 2014, they expanded their business. They realized that this publishing is an industry that is going to be the next big thing. And in 2014, this Elsevier launched a database. Not in 2014, in 2004, they launched a database known as Scopus. Scopus. So Scopus is a database owned by this multinational profit-making corporate company known as Elsevier, based in the Netherlands. And what is Scopus? Scopus is a citation and abstracting database. Database, what is a database? Where you store things, a depository or a repository of articles, journal articles. That is Scopus. It is not a governmental agency. It doesn't provide independent analysis, and it has nearly 40,000 journals. Which one? Scopus has indexed nearly 40,000 journals from the whole world. And there was a big controversy in the 2015 and 16. There was a big controversy. They were telling that, no, it is not fair, because Elsevier itself is a big company and they have their own journals, and they have started a database known as Scopus, and they say that it is independent and you can trust it. This is what they are saying, but we cannot, what you call conflict of interest. So its own company is one of the competitors. So naturally there was a conflict of interest, and so they did something. In 2009, to prevent conflict of interest problems, the court used to interfere. So there was a lot of problem. So they appointed an independent and international Scopus content selection and advisory board in the year 2009. They created a body to look into the affairs and to make sure that everything is transparent. I will explain. Somebody asked to repeat it. See, in 2009, because there was a conflict of interest problem, because Scopus is the sub-branch of Elsevier. See, if it is a company that is under the big company, naturally it will follow the directives of the big company. It is natural. And so, and the big company itself is a competitor. It is one of the participants. It is like, for example, your teacher's son is also participating in an examination. Suppose your teacher is, maybe your teacher is fair, not beautiful. That is not what I meant. Suppose your teacher is very fair, very just, but nevertheless, there is a problem. It is not, you will say that it is unfair because the teacher's own son is there writing the exam. So we have a problem. We don't agree that this teacher evaluating our papers, we will not agree with that. Similar kind of situation, conflict of interest. So to prevent this conflict of interest problem, in 2009, this company itself appointed an independent and international Scopus content selection and advisory board. And this advisory board was given the task of choosing the journals to be included in the database. And they were told to maintain an open and transparent content coverage policy. Okay, good. So they have done something, right? They have done something to maintain transparency. But that is fine. They are paid, these people are paid salary by the same company, but still, let us think that those people are very honest people and they are doing a very honest job. But still, we have a problem. The people from the arts and humanities have a problem, because this board consists of scientists and librarians. This board consists of scientists and librarians. In other words, this board consists of not a single person from the arts and humanities stream. So how will these people decide on the quality or the transparency or the authenticity of a journal from the arts and humanities stream? And if that is the case, how will we trust a journal that is indexed in Scopus? Because Arts and humanities journals are added into Scopus by scientists from other disciplines, not any expert from arts and humanities. So, I mean, I will tell you, give you the details. People from life sciences, social sciences, pure sciences, physical sciences, and health sciences are members of this selection committee. Nobody from arts and humanities. Okay, so what I was telling you was this thing. There are two major companies in the world, Elsevier and Clarivate Analytics. Elsevier is a Dutch company. It started a database called Scopus, and Scopus is largely devoted to scientific interests. But there are so many arts and humanities journals as well indexed in this Scopus. This is the idea. Now let us look at the next company, Clarivate Analytics. I will tell you the story of Clarivate. You might have heard of Reuters. Reuters was a very reputed news agency in the 1980s, 1990s. Reuters, R-E-U-T-E-R-S, Reuters Group. Reuters Group, I'm pasting it in the chat box. The Reuters Group was a very reputed news agency. And in 2014, I think, in 2016, in 2008, this company called Reuters was acquired by Thomson Corporation. It was acquired, it was bought by Thomson Corporation. And after that, this has come to be known as Thomson Reuters. Thomson Reuters. So this is the next company, Thomson Reuters. And this Thomson Reuters, they also started a database. Just like Elsevier started a database titled Scopus, this Thomson Reuters started a database system. And before that, what happened is this Thomson Reuters came to be renamed as Clarivate, because this company was bought in 2016, and from 2016 onwards, this company has come to be known as Clarivate Analytics. Simple, Clarivate Analytics. And this Clarivate Analytics, it also started a database known as Web of Science. The Web of Science was started, exactly, thank you, by Clarivate. So these two. Now remember this, we have two companies. One is Elsevier, the other is Thomson Reuters or Clarivate Analytics. Elsevier has Scopus, and this Clarivate owns Web of Science. So these two are the two major databases in the world today. And the UGC care list was primarily prepared based on these two databases. All journals that were part of these two databases were automatically brought into the UGC care list of journals. Now I want you to know something. This Clarivate Analytics, these are companies and they cannot lie. When we see advertisements, we see something called a disclaimer. For example, when you see somebody smoking, you will see a small disclaimer at the bottom called cigarette smoking is injurious to health. It is obligatory on the part of those advertisers to give those details. So only because of that, this Clarivate Analytics, I will give you the link, in an article titled Journal Citation Reports, Reasons for Not Calculating impact factors for journals covered in Arts and Humanities Citation Index. I'm just giving you the link itself. So this is the link. Don't click on it. You can look at it later. You can read it. You can verify. It is very clearly written in this link by Clarivate. The owner of the company has written it very clearly. I will read from that. I will quote from their own website where they have mentioned very clearly certain things. Let me just take it. So they are telling, and I am quoting from Clarivate Analytics. This is the link. You can verify it later. So Clarivate Analytics says, okay, journals unique to the arts and humanities will not appear in journal citation reports. Journals from the arts and humanities will not appear in journal citation reports because, they say, as this is an area where a large amount of work is done in books rather than in journals. So citation does not happen in arts and humanities. That is what they say. There, a lot of work is being done in books and not in journals. And they continue, journals and arts and humanities with overlap into sciences will be in journal citation reports. So will a proper arts and humanities journal have an impact factor? No. A Pakka journal from arts and humanities will never have an impact factor. They are not calculating it. That is what they say. They are not even calculating journal impact factor for journals from arts and humanities. And they continue. The primary reason that there is no journal citation report for arts and humanities is because the key metric used in journal citation reports, which is the journal impact factor, is not an appropriate measure for arts and humanities publications. Did you get me? Clarivate Analytics, the owner of this company, says very clearly that journals from the arts and humanities cannot have an impact factor because it is not research in arts and humanities do not happen through journals but through books. And when it happens like that, there will be no citation. Somebody is asking, whose fault is it, sir? There is no fault. There is absolutely no fault. It is, see, we have to be proud of our discipline. Our discipline is different. Arts and humanities research is different from other types of research. So we have to be proud of it. And if we don't have an impact factor, the only thing that means is we are different. It doesn't mean that our research is bad. It doesn't mean that our research papers are bad. It simply means that we need a different rule to understand arts and humanities journals. See, my friend, I have provided the link. Scopus, okay, you want the Scopus indexed journals. Okay, I will provide that. I will come to that later. No worries. I will provide that. Pallavi, I will provide that later. So remember this, and then should I continue reading from that? So this is what they say, and they keep on. You can go to this particular page and understand. They conclude by saying this: the net result is that arts and humanities journals will have, on the whole, very low impact factors and very low 5-year journal impact factors. Even a 10-year journal impact factor will be very low for these journals. Okay, so even after 10 years, not in 1 year, even after 10 years, a journal from arts and humanities will not have a good impact factor. It is not possible. Is it possible to create a database? See, it is not. Why should we worry? Why should we do things like the scientists? Why can't we do things in our own way? Why can't we have our own professors? Why can't we have our own universities producing journals. How easy it will be. All the universities, all the university departments coming up with journals, and researchers can publish in those journals, and people, reputed people, people from arts and humanities, people who are capable people, people with good caliber, they can be the editors, and we will have a good database as well. What is the problem? Why should we do things just like the scientists? And what happens is, because most of these people in our colleges, because arts and humanities is a small session, it's a small group of people, and we are not scientifically inclined, so we are not going to check these details. Whatever they say, okay, you have to publish in journals with impact factor. Yeah, agreed. We are very very innocent and very we don't suspect anything, we don't doubt anything, we agree everything, we are very naive. So what happens, we believe these things. So I'm not finished. I will give you other evidences. This is another link, and this is from another very reputed publisher. I know you know this publisher, Taylor and Francis. See this link. I have posted the link here. Taylor and Francis, the link. If you can please not ask questions right now, it will be great. Please note the questions and ask at the end, then it will be greater. So please see this link, author service, Taylor and Francis. Now, I'm reading from this Taylor and Francis website. From this link, you can go to that website and see that later. I will read it for you. Now, don't worry. I'm not going into so many details. Here they say, in a paragraph titled, "What else do you need to consider?" Here they say very clearly, most arts and humanities journals will not receive an impact factor. This is what, this is the conclusion of what Taylor and Francis say in their website. Now I will take you to certain institutions. It is not just the databases, it is not just the publishing companies that say these things. Institutions say this. This is the website link of the Canadian Institute for Knowledge Development, a very famous, a very reputed, very authentic, non-profit institute working exclusively for researchers. Canadian Institute for Knowledge Development. It is an international multidisciplinary research publishing consulting institute, which is one of the most expert institutions all over the world. So if you can refer to this particular link, what you will find is this. I will read you one or two sentences from what they have said. So they are saying this. They have explained about Scopus and Web of Science. They say all these things, and in the paragraph titled "Impact Factor Limitations," they say, the last one, it doesn't take into account disciplinary differences, and the last point in that, there is no JCR, Journal Citation Report, for arts and humanities, therefore no impact factor for those journals. This is what this particular institute clearly tells its participants, its members, that what arts and humanities journals will not have an impact factor. I'm not finished. I will take you to another very prestigious institution, the King's College London. I'm sure you have heard of this King's College London. When you studied John Keats's poetry, you heard that John Keats studied at this particular institution, King's College London. This is a very prestigious institution. 10 people from this institution have won Nobel Prizes. 10 people from this college, King's College London, have won Nobel Prizes. And my next students would remember very well that in 2010, the Nobel Prize for Literature was won by a professor from this particular college, from King's College London, a person who is a professor there, Mario Vargas Llosa, LLOSA. So this person is also a professor there. And this is what the King's College London tell its, the scholars there, the teachers there tell their students this particular thing. You can see that at this link. I will read for you what the King's College London website says. They are saying, they are pointing out a lot of things. Please read these things as well. After we complete our lecture, please go through these articles and read these things so that you can understand a lot of important things as well. These are very useful articles. So in the paragraph titled Criticisms of the Journal Impact Factor, this college, the King's College London, says the journal impact factor is, they are speaking about its limitations. One, journal editors can manipulate the impact factor. We don't have to worry because we don't have impact factor. Second, see the second point. Only journals indexed by the Science Citation Index and Social Science Citation Index have impact factors. Impact factors are not calculated for the Arts and Humanities Citation Index. Read that 5 times, 10 times, and read it to all those people who tell you that you have to publish in journals with impact factors. Third point, they are saying journal impact factors are out of date. They are giving so many other problems with impact factor, but we don't have to worry about those things. We just need to worry about what we need to understand. So King's College London, again, I will give you other evidences. You can search these things and find out the Ohio State University's directives given to students say very clearly that it is unethical to publish your journals in, publish your papers in journals with impact factor. For whom? Not for science students, not for social science students, only for researchers from arts and humanities. Then I will give you a report, a link to a report. You can download this report and read it later. It's a very useful report. It's a report on methodologies underpinning journal rankings. Methodologies underpinning journal rankings. And this is a big study. This study was conducted by Professor Kathy Bowry, Faculty of Law, University of New South Wales. So in this report, if you can refer to page number 6 and page number 18, you will see that arts and humanities journals cannot have journal citation index. Then you will ask me, I will give you other examples also. You can check the website of the London Journal of Arts and Sciences, a very reputed journal. The London Journal of Arts and Sciences, view their website. They make it very clear that impact factors are not calculated for the arts and humanities. You can find it at a lot of places. So why are we not told about these things, and why are we asked to publish in these journals with impact factor? Let me tell you one thing. If you Google this thing, you will get a lot of search results. But when you click on the link, you will find something very interesting. Page link is broken, not available. It is indexed. You have to pay money. And if you are ready to pay money, you will not be able to purchase the article because they have suspended the article. In other words, a lot of research has happened into this. A lot of research has been done by researchers about what? About arts and humanities and impact factor, and why arts and humanities journals cannot have impact factor, but all those researches have been suppressed. Who will suppress that? Think about it. Who will suppress those search results? Who will suppress those researches? The companies who are making profit. Will they want us to not publish in these journals with journal, impact factor. No, they want us to pay the money. And because they want our money, they will ask us to publish in these journals. This is explicitly what happens. So please understand, journals from the arts and humanities cannot have any impact factor. A very minor impact factor, negligible impact factor is okay. Say for instance 0.13, it can happen if great people have published in that journal and something has happened, so it may have a very small impact factor. But normally good, if you look at good literature journals, good research journals from ELT, they don't have impact factor. And if you find a journal with impact factor more than 2 asking you to publish, please make it very sure, please know that it is a fake journal. So how do they get this impact factor? There are a few things. How do they get this impact factor? One simple thing that these fake journals do is they will simply say that we have an impact factor of 5.63, an utter lie, one thing. Second thing, their impact factor will not be calculated by these Scopus or Elsevier or Web of Science. Their impact factor will be calculated by themselves or some company that they started. So Foundation for Research, I am starting a company for my journal, and then I am speaking about its impact factor. You can check most of the journals that are famous today in our country. Check those websites, check their websites and see where they have got this impact factor. They cannot say outright lies. Some journals will say outright lies. Some journals cannot do that, so they will say we have an impact factor, but that impact factor, they will not say it is a but or anything. They will simply say that impact factor in brackets or somewhere in very small font, they will write impact factor from this particular thing. We are not worried. We are just looking at impact factor 5.32. Wow, I'm going to publish it. They will ask money, no problem. I'm going to publish it. This is what happens with impact factor. Devi, madam, please. Okay. And another way an arts and humanities journal can have an impact factor is by publishing science papers. Understand this? If an arts and humanities journal publishes science papers from the sciences or social sciences, there is a chance that that journal will have impact factor. But the UGC, here, understand this, UGC Ethics Committee has made it very clear that each journal has to make sure that it should publish articles based on its core concern. So if it is an arts and humanities journal, that journal does not have a right to publish articles from other disciplines. And if that journal has an ISSN number, ISSN number is provided by the ISSN agency, and without an ISSN number, a journal is not recognized. So if it has an ISSN number, it is clear that they have given an undertaking to the ISSN agency that we will publish articles only from this particular area. So they are doing against that system. And that is why again and again you see that so many articles are removed from UGC care list every day. UGC receives thousands of complaints against journals every day. And these journals are being removed every day by the UGC. And people are complaining about the UGC. Why is the UGC doing this? But my dear friends, there are a lot of problems with the UGC. But in this, don't blame UGC, because this care list prepared by the UGC, there are so many flaws in this, FLAWS, so many problems with the care list. But it is a good attempt, at least a good attempt by the UGC to cleanse the system. And we should support the system. You know, Professor Bhushan Patwardhan, the vice chairman of the UGC, he has been at the forefront of mandatory journals, and people, he and his team of experts from UGC, this particular university, Jyotibai Phule University, Pune, they are doing lot of things to cleanse this system. They are doing, but it is humanly impossible because there are thousands and thousands of fake journals in our country, and these fake journals are supported by professors. These fake journals have lot of advertisement. These fake journals have lot of money, and these fake journals threaten the people who remove them from the care list, who blame them as fake journals. They have lot of money power, they have lot of political power. I mean, sometimes they make mistakes. I don't say they are perfect. Very good journals are still out of UGC care list. Some very good journals haven't been listed in UGC care list. And it is not easy. They say it is very easy to get your journal indexed in UGC care list, but it is not easy. And there are so many agents in between. And you can imagine corruption is everywhere. UGC is not perfect either. There are human beings in UGC, and man needs money. Wherever there is a human being, there is money. And wherever there is money, there is chance for misappropriation of money. So I hope you will understand what I am trying to tell you. So please understand this particular thing. And so the UGC care list. So my dear friends, now you will be asking this question. So how will I know which journal to publish my article in? How will I know which journal is good? First thing you have to do is, somebody was asking a while back about, sir, where can we find the list of journals? I'm giving you the link. Now, I want you to go to this link and search. See, this is the name of the website. And please remember, this is the official website of UGC care list. This is the official website. If you Google, you will find another website created by fake journals. That is not the website for the UGC care listed journals. This is the website. And if you go to this particular link, I have provided another link in the chat box. Go to this particular link. Anybody can create an account. Create an account, create an ID, create a password, and you can log in and search for any journal. This is how you have to find whether a journal is UGC care listed or not. See, every day in different groups, we get lot of PDFs saying that this is the original UGC care list of journals. See, anybody can edit a PDF and change the title. Who cannot do that? Any person who is good at editing PDFs can change the title. So you have to go to this particular website and see, if you are planning to publish an article in a journal, at that very moment, go to this particular website and check if that journal is there in this particular list. If it is there, there is a chance that it is a good journal. That doesn't guarantee. See, my friend, the Scopus indexed arts and humanities journals are all provided in this link. The UGC care website has Pallavi Maji Ji. Please understand, madam. I don't know if it is sir or madam. Please understand. Go to this link. You will get the link for Scopus indexed arts and humanities journals. And also understand that most Scopus indexed arts and humanities journals are subscription access journals. You have to pay a lot of money. You have to pay a lot of money. It's a big business that is happening there. I will come to that later. So first thing to verify whether the journal you are going to publish in is authentic is to go to this link and see. You can create an account and then you can search, give the name of the journal you want to publish in and see if it is there in the UGC care list. Then another thing that every one of us can do, see, it requires some effort to find out whether a journal is authentic or not. Many people send me messages, sir, is this good journal? Is this good journal? I can also do the same thing only. I'm also not an authority, or I cannot know whether the UGC has removed a journal from its list. So I too do the same thing. I go to this website and see, and I'm going to give you another link. And this is a very useful link. Predatory, this is a list of predatory journals. Predatory journals means journals, basically journals who take money from its publishers, from its authors. Those are predatory journals. You know what? A person called Beale, Jeffrey Beale of the University of Colorado, he was a librarian there, and he first produced a list of predatory journals. But do you know what happened? He was trapped in so many fake cases, a lot of court cases he had to encounter. Who gave these cases? You can imagine, you can understand. These journals themselves gave these complaints against this guy, and he lost his job. The university conducted an investigation, but the investigation ended with no findings. Any sensible person who goes and sees the website that he created would know that that is a very clear, correct website. But that website he had to close because of the pressure, because of pressure, because of threats to his family, because of threats to his life. He had to close that website. And now this is one website that we have. This is basically taken from Beale's list. Go to this particular website, predatoryjournals.com/journals. Go to this particular website and find the journals listed there. The list journals which are considered predatory in nature are listed alphabetically. So if you have published an article, I tell you, my dear friends, I tell you that everyone who has published more than 2 articles will find your journal in this list. I assure you, some of the most reputed journals in our country in English language and literature. In a forum like this, I don't want to name any journals because it's not fair. And I also have to leave. I have to leave. And threats can come to me as well. And there are problems, you can imagine. So go to this list and find for yourselves those very reputed journals which are listed in this particular list. predatoryjournals.com. And this list is including more and more articles, more and more journals every day. You know, I will tell you one thing. The UGC has stated very clearly that if you find any such practices, you have to write to the UGC. I will give you the email address that the UGC care list has given. So whenever you find a journal that asks you for money, whenever a journal does any of such fraudulent things, see, there are 2 email addresses given by the UGC. Give a complaint to the UGC. If you have received an email like this, yesterday we all received, most of us received email saying that a record attempt is being made by some company, and some company that publishes journals. These are all fake things. You just forward those emails to these websites and UGC will take action. Yeah, Anjaneyulu sir has got that link, got that message. Most of us received that email, and so many people. Yeah, another madam is Sweta ma'am is also saying that she received that email. So these are all fake things. Whenever somebody says Limca Book of World Records, this Book of World Records, don't go and attempt there. See, I also can create a list of world records. Who knows what? And why should we be so worried about these records? My dear friends, let us do things honestly. They will tell you that we provide awards. So you have to pay 20,000 rupees and then you have to give your data and you have to recommend yourself. And then they will say that, okay, you are given Best Teacher Award. And they give as many as 10,000 Best Teacher Award during their meetings. 10,000 best teacher awards in their meetings. And what do? These teachers, they have paid this money. Why? Not all teachers are fake. They are helpless because at their college, the management is saying, see, your colleagues are getting so many awards, you haven't got any award. The students are saying, see, my teacher, he hasn't got any award. Yeah, somebody knows it. ESN World Book of Records. Somebody has come up with the title as well. So, Book of Records, this thing, Best Teacher Awards. An award is a recognition that people should give you in recognition of your quality, not something that you should buy. And people are asking me, sir, do you know anywhere I can buy an award? See, what happened, madam? Why you are asking like this? Sir, I know that it is wrong, but our management is compelling us to have some award. And if we don't have an award, they say that we don't have quality. And yeah, the students know which teachers are good and which teachers are bad. In their hearts, the students will know. But the teachers know that they have to do this infighting in the department, and there is lot of problem in the department, unhealthy competition, and unfortunately, we are forced to buy these awards. So that is an aside. Leave those things aside. Okay, so one thing that I really want you all to understand is we have to be aware. We have to be very careful. We should not fall prey to these people. My dear friends, let me tell you of an incident of a predatory journal. I want to tell this because it is very important. We have to be very careful about these things. A person, I don't name anybody, I don't name anything, she got her article published in a fake journal by paying 25,000 rupees. Okay, from English literature, because she had to complete her PhD. And there was no choice. She had to complete her PhD, and the university was saying you have to publish in Scopus listed journals. And she received many emails saying that if you pay money, you can publish in Scopus listed journals in 1 week, 2 days, 3 days. No problem. So she paid the money. She was helpless because how will we live? See, what can a poor researcher do? And your guide is also telling you, please complete your process and get out. So what will we do? What will we do? She paid the money and she got her article published. And she was working as a assistant professor in a college. She cleared NET, and people who have gone through that. Don't name those people. So the thing is, what happened to her was this journal agent, it was done via an agent. And this agent blackmailed this lady. This agent told her that if she doesn't pay him 1 lakh rupees, he will complain to her management and other authorities that she has done this through this means, that she has paid money. And the UGC has made it very clear that you should not be approaching any agents. Remember, we don't know these rules, right? We should not be publishing. Go to the UGC Care website and read. There you have a lot of things to read. They will tell you that UGC has told very clearly that you should not publish via agents. So this agent said he has nothing to lose. He, blackmailed this lady. And I don't continue the story. You can imagine what happened. But this kind of thing can happen with every one of us. And if any one of you listening to me is an agent to any of these journals, please understand that the UGC is very clear about it. Anybody who indulges in such activity will lose their job. If I am an assistant professor or an associate professor or a professor working in a university, I am not expected to do such unethical things. I am not expected to ask my students to publish their articles in fake journals. So many journals have agents. I'm not going to name anyone. And so many journals don't know that they have agents. So they will get it published for you. The agent makes money. The journal may not know as well. We cannot say who is the culprit, but never approach agents. And our own professors, we know those people. We know those people. I'm just trying to swallow those names that come to my mind. I'm not telling any names. You see for yourself those teachers who do that, and they will lose. Just give a complaint against them. They will lose their job, because a teacher who is getting salary from the UGC cannot have another earning apart from this, and that too in an unethical way, very unethical. And people from Tamil Nadu know very clearly what is happening in Tamil Nadu. People from Andhra Pradesh, people from Maharashtra, three major states where there is lot of lobbying happening. There is lot of mafia groups working in this journal publishing industry. I cannot say more, because there will be definitely agents from these journals as well attending our workshops. So my dear friends, what I want to tell you is, I will give you another link. This is a Wikipedia link, a simple Wikipedia link. See this. See this link and read about predatory publishing. What is predatory publishing? What are the indications of a predatory publisher? So I will quickly take you through the major, how you can identify a predatory publisher. So first thing you have to do is go to the UGC website, UGC CARE website, and check. Second thing you have to do is go to the the link that I gave earlier. What is it? predatoryjournals.com/journals. That website, you can go to that website and see and verify. And as warning, I want to give you two more links. These are fake websites. Please understand this. http carejournals.in and facebook.com/carejournals. This is the first search result that you will get when you Google care listed journals. But please understand, I will read from a UGC letter, a UGC letter dated UGC notification number 431177, dated 31st May 2019. In that notice, Rajneesh Jain sir, the secretary of the UGC, he says, this is the notice. This is to alert all the stakeholders that a fake website imposing as UGC CARE website titled carejournals.in has come to our notice. All the stakeholders are advised to be careful and avoid falling prey to this potentially predatory website. Anybody still following the fake website may do so solely at his or her own risk and consequences. In no manner whatsoever will the UGC be responsible for the same. UGC has washed its hands, and UGC cannot do anything. Before UGC came up with its list, these people came up with this fake website, carejournals.in, and they have a Facebook page as well, carejournals, facebook.com/carejournals, and in that list they are giving the list of fake journals. So we think that this is the real list of journals. It is so beautifully done, but please remember, this is fake. This is fake. This is pakka fake, and if you do anything based on this particular website, you are to blame. UGC will not take the responsibility if you publish in journals listed here. Okay, so that is something you have to be very careful about. Then that is another thing. Then how will we know a journal is fake and predatory? So one thing, you can go first, and second thing I have told you, go through first UGC CARE website. Second, go to this particular website, predatoryjournals.com/journals. Go to that website and see if that journal is there. If your journal is not, if your journal passes those two tests, again, it is not sure that your journal is safe. Then the next thing, another indicator of a fake journal. fake journals advertise and market through professors, seminars, etc. Advertising and marketing is not done by good journals. So if a journal sends you an email, sends you a message, a WhatsApp message, if they advertise, if they say we will do this, that for you, please understand that they are fake journals. Then incomplete or misleading information. If you go to certain websites, certain very famous literature websites, language and literature websites, I hope you understand the name of the websites. Go to that journal's website and check. You will find that they have listed UGC care listed. But when you click on that link, they say that we are UGC, click here to see UGC care listing. They have said click here to say UGC care listing. But when you click, that link takes there in the UGC care list. But we go to the website and the first thing that we say is click here to see UGC care listing. So we believe that this is there. This is there in the UGC care list. Don't trust the website. Go to the UGC care site and check. Go to the predatory journal site and check whether it is listed as a predatory journal. Then another very important thing is poor language use. I'm not speaking about the papers. Yeah, these bad journals also know these things, so they are also trying to improve their language. It is true, but still, mostly you will find that these journals don't have very good language because it's fake. And people on the editorial board, mostly those people will be fake. You will find great names there. Salman Rushdie will be there. Kamala Das may be there. They will not know that Kamala Das died. So these people may all be there on the editorial board of those journals. And you will find a lot of names from professors from different universities. And if you Google their names, you will realize that those professors don't exist. So this is another indication of a bad journal. And then, my dear friends, if you find the name of your professor on the editorial board of a journal, don't think that that journal is safe. Maybe your professor is not part of the game. He is an innocent person. But what has happened is he also doesn't know it is a fake journal. And so when they offered him an editorship, he applied for it and he was appointed as an editor. Poor professor doesn't know. So don't blame your professor if your professor's name is in the editorial board of journals. They are also helpless. See, we have a lot of good teachers. They are not telling us these things because they don't know. Because they attend conferences where they are also told to submit papers in these journals with impact factor, and they also listen to those things. So don't blame them for being fake. They may not be frauds. That is not the idea. Then one very good indicator is money. If money is the purpose of a journal, make sure that that journal is fake. And the more the money, the more fake it will be. And go through the journal's website very thoroughly and see. You will find that the journal is published in California, the journal is published in New Jersey. Lot of things will be described there, but you go to the URL. You go to the URL and check the website registration, website domain name registration. You will find that the domain is registered in India. So somebody from our country has created this journal, and they are saying we can write anything in our website, right? The internet is like a library without a librarian. Nobody makes sure that the information that you provide on the internet is correct. There is no librarian in the this big website, this big library called the internet. So we have to be careful. Then list of editorial board members. Make sure that the editorial board members' address is correct. Go to the website and see that these people are actual people. Then falsely created impact factor, false claims of indexing in real indexes, fake websites created in the name of real journals. So many things. Look at the editor-in-chief. Who is the chief editor? What is he? What is he doing? What is his profile? Is he a business person? Is he doing so many things that is impossible for a person to do? Okay, so these are some of the things that we have to be very clear about when we publish in journals, and be very prudent and shrewd. Don't do anything wrong. This is what I want to tell you. Sir, then how will I publish? If you tell me that don't do anything wrong, and you are saying it is wrong to do these things, then how will I publish? How will I complete my PhD? My dear friends, this is the sad, bad reality called Indian education system. Let us see. I gave you the link of I gave you the email address of the UGC care website where you can complain about fake journals. I'm sure many people copied the names of the websites, but how many of you copied the name or email address of UGC? How many of you will complain? How many of you will try to clean this system? If we don't try, who will do this? Somebody should be there. We should take the responsibility to clean the system. So always remember that. And that is it about fake journals. And go to the Wikipedia page. There you will find a lot of other things as well about how to do those things. So I think today also I'm exceeding the time limits. I just want to clarify certain other things about a lot of questions. I will answer the questions later. I want to answer some very important doubts that people have. Who can publish in journals? Can an MA student publish in journal? Yes, anybody can publish in journal. It doesn't require that you are a researcher. And some people ask, sir, I don't have an institutional address. Everywhere I find that people write their articles, and below that they write their name, below that research scholar or assistant professor, but I don't have an institutional address. Can I publish? Yes, you can publish. Yes, you can publish. Quality is the only criteria. Quality is the only criteria, my dear friends. Your name, none of these things matter. Just make sure that your paper has quality, and if it has quality, it will be accepted in good journals. And if your paper is good journals will accept it. And there are journals which publish for free. Look at foreign journals. There are Indian journals as well. I don't know if I have the list with me, but I will give you the names. IUP Publishers has one journal. There are some few journals that publish for free. Spring Magazine is another journal that publishes for free. Marg publishes for free. Not all these things may be Scopus listed, and then that is a problem. If you don't publish in Scopus listed journals, then it may not be accepted. So the system will take time to better, but we should do our bit to improve the system. Then another thing that people have doubt with is, should I take my guide's permission to submit a paper to a journal? My dear friends, no, absolutely no. Your guide is your guide. Your guide is not your anything else. See, you don't have to take the permission of your guide to submit a paper or present a paper. Yes, you have to do 2 paper presentations as part of your PhD. Those 2 papers, maybe it is better that you inform your guide so that your guide will go through your paper and make corrections and your paper will be good. But otherwise, you don't have to take the permission from the guide for attending a seminar, for presenting a paper, nothing. It's your freedom. It's your freedom. The guide is your supervisor. He or she is your guide. You are not the slave. And then another thing, should I give my guide's name always as my co-author? As the co-author, should I give the name of my guide? Most guides I tell these things blatantly because it is a fact, and poor researchers are helpless. Most guides tell their research scholars to put their names also with their research scholars research paper. If I am a research, no, never, but they force to do. Exactly, they force us to do. And when I spoke about this in a workshop, somebody forwarded me a university's list of regulations, and in that I think it is not wrong to speak about it in the open, right? It is VIT, Vellore Institute of Technology. There, the regulation itself, the university regulation itself states, asks the researchers to publish their papers with the names of the guides as co-authors. My dear friends, how? Why? Isn't it unethical? If your guide has worked with you, if your guide has done an equal share of work, or even 30% of the work in that paper, it's fine. But just because somebody is your guide, how come he or she can write his or her name on your research paper? It is your research product. It is your sweat and labor. Your research guide doesn't have any right to ask you to put his or her name in the research paper. So what these researchers are forced to do, I'm not saying all the research guides, there are exemplary research guides in the country who give lot of freedom and lot of, there are some, 2 days back, I was talking to a student from Assam University, and she was telling me about her guide, and her eyes were glowing. She was telling me how amazing it is to work with that guide. Please don't name any. I'm not naming any, but I don't name any. Okay, thank you, sir, for your suggestion. But the thing is, we have to ask them why it should be so. Why it should be so. Why the guide's name should be given as the co-author. Isn't it unethical? If there are, if my guide hasn't co-authored, then how come I have to pay the money for my research paper to publish that paper? They will ask, the publishers will ask you to pay money for the guide also, because there is a co-author. And who can be co-authors? How many people can be co-authors? If you have gone through the chart I gave yesterday, you can see that in arts and humanities, in literary studies, the number of authors is 1. The number of authors is 1. While in medical sciences and things like that, the average number of authors per paper is 9 and 10 and 11. What is the difference? In literary studies, it doesn't make much sense to co-author a paper. Yeah, sometimes we have to do co-authoring. It happens. But very rarely it happens. And so don't co-author with 4 or 5 people and submit your paper to a journal. It will be rejected. So co-authoring is fine, but maximum with 1 or 2%, and only if it is justifiable. Only if it is justifiable. So remember these things, and I want to tell you a lot more other things, but we have to complete the session within. What if I publish a journal my paper in a science journal? If you are a scientist and if you are good at it, you can publish, but don't publish a paper on formula for COVID virus or something in a science journal, because you don't know that, right? If you publish co-author with a science student, you will get a publication, but that will do more harm than good. But because soon UGC is planning to check these things. When the NAC committee, peer team comes to your college for evaluating your institution, the teachers' profiles will be evaluated by a separate team, and they will look at the authenticity of your papers. So if you have published your paper in a science journal, you are from arts and humanities, you don't have any science background, and you have published a paper on mathematics, fussy mathematics, you have co-authored with a science student, you got a publication in a Scopus Index journal, but what that will do is you will get a minus mark, a black mark. It can adversely affect your career. It can adversely affect your career. So don't do such malpractices. Let us do good practices. London Journals Press. I don't know about this press, my dear friend. I don't know about it. With that, people ask, sir, how can I publish my article without any lagging? I want to publish it immediately. If you want to publish it immediately, go to these predatory publishers, go to these fake publishers, because no good journal will publish in 1 week or 2 weeks. So if you find any advertisement saying that we will get your paper published in 1 week, understand that it is fake, because a double-blind peer review process will take minimum 30 days. I can assure you. I have been involved in this journal work and editorial work, so I know very clearly that it is impossible to complete the work in 1 week. So there will not be any peer review. So that is a clear example. If they publish your paper for within 24 hours feedback available. Exactly, sir. So just understand, lot of money. It is for money that those people are doing this. So don't fall into those traps. And when you submit your paper, I wanted to give a list of guidelines as to what you should do when you submit your paper. Rupkatha has age, and is it true? I don't know. Dr. GVN sir has asked me not to name any journals or not to name anyone. So once upon a time, Rupkatha was a very good journal. That's all I know. I don't know about the present situation. And okay, so that is it. So with that, I wind up today's lecture. If you have any doubts, of course, you can get back to me, contact me on WhatsApp. It's all fine. I know you will have a lot of doubts about, this journal thing is a very confusing thing. I will give you my email address just in case if anybody wants to contact me for anything. Don't ask me, sir, is this journal good? Is this journal bad? Please go through the things that I told you. But otherwise, if it is something reasonable, definitely you can ask me. I will be ready to help you in whatever ways I can. So you can find my email address and phone number here. Thank you. So I wind up my lecture, and at this juncture, I would like to thank the organizers, the whole Kids Warangal Institute, the management, the principal, the Mathematics and Humanities department, the head of the Department of Mathematics, Manjulatha ma'am, the head of the Department of English, my dear friends from the department, friends and colleagues from the department. My hearty thanks to all of you for giving me this platform to meet this elite bunch of researchers from all over the country. So thank you so much.
We are thankful to you, sir.
Thank you.
Questions?
Yeah, questions, yes.
So thank you so much, sir, for enlightening us. We will be forever thankful to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
I request our participants to post questions in the chat box, please.
H-index is for author, journal impact factor is for journals. Impact factor is for journals. Okay, yeah. Questions? Thanks to all the participants for your wonderful cooperation and participation right through. You were very responsive, very supportive. Thank you so much.
Sir, there will be a vote of thanks, sir. please be available. Over to Shruti ma'am.
Respected patron Manjulatha Devi, Assistant Professor of English. Coordinator Dr. W. Grace Shanthi, Assistant Professor of English. Coordinators Ms. Asmatunisa Begum, Sri Vinay Thalapalli, Ms. A. Manaswini. Esteemed head and faculty of all the departments of KITS Warangal, lab technicians and dear parents.
Okay, sir. Some problem from Shruti madam's side. So Manaswini madam will propose the order of thanks. Thank you.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm thanked already. So many people are saying so much thanks, so it's fine. No formalities.
I'm sorry, Shruti ma'am, you are not audible.
How do we know about the quality of the paper written by us unless someone else tells us? Yeah, we need peer review. That is why we need this peer review process. Somebody has to tell us. You have to share your paper with your peers and ask them to review your paper. That is the way. Yeah.
Our happiness in hosting a webinar in the national level.
Yeah, we will fill in the blanks. I got the idea. Thank you so much. I got the vote of thanks.
Actually, she is in Kerala.
We will. I will call her and
take
hear
the
vote of thanks. No issues.
So very kind of you, sir. Very kind of you.
No worries.
And dear participants, regarding the e-certificate, you will be provided when you attempt the evening's quiz. So please be patient. Everyone will get the certificate. And thanks for your participation and kind support. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just something, sir. What are thanks, please? ఎక్కడ పంపింది వాట్సాప్లో షేర్ చేసింది.
If I am not muted, I will answer this question. I think it's an important question. If we go for, am I muted? No.
No, sir, you're not muted.
Okay. There is a question from Saida. If we go for the plagiarism check before submitting our thesis, do we get any problem? It's a common misunderstanding among researchers that we can submit our document for plagiarism check only once. If we do it again, it will go into some document and it will be plagiarized. No such things. My dear friends, please understand that plagiarism is a menace. We have to tackle the menace. And the problem is, if you submit your document for plagiarism check in some online website that do the plagiarism check for free, you will land in problem because they will keep the document with them, and before you know, this article may be published somewhere in Africa by someone else. So you will lose your article. So don't do that. Always trust only two plagiarism checking websites which are foolproof right now. As far as I know, Turnitin and Urkund are the only plagiarism checking tools that are foolproof, that you can safely use. If it is your PhD thesis, if it is your MPhil thesis, if it is your MA project, if it is a research paper, don't check it on any other plagiarism checking tool other than Turnitin or Urkund. Both these softwares are very, very expensive software, and in our country, UGC has made some provision so that this Urkund software is made freely available to all the institutions. So institutionally, they are using Urkund software, and Turnitin software is also available. This software is available for individuals. It is not Pakka original software that they give, because for original Turnitin software you have to pay lakhs and lakhs of rupees. But with certain adjustments, they will give you Turnitin accounts for 1,500, 2,000, 2,500 rupees. You can get personal student accounts. So I am using one such account, and my friends are using. So it is worth, if you are doing research, it is worth to pay that 1,500 and get a Turnitin account for 1 year so that you can use it. Checking a document on Turnitin will not affect you anyway. I'm saying this because people think that if I submit it on Turnitin, Turnitin will store it, and the next time I check it again, it will show the same plagiarism as it showed earlier. Not at all. Turnitin will not store your paper in any repository. You can check it on Turnitin, on Urkund, any number of times. If you check it 1,000 number of times also, no problem, they will not store. But if you go to online websites, there are many online tools available that check plagiarism for free. Don't trust them, because when you submit your document, we have to upload our document, and this document can go somewhere. We cannot trust them. It's a matter of trust. And also, no software is as foolproof as these two softwares when it comes to quality also. These are the best quality software. So they will find they are the most correct. If a plagiarism check on Turnitin shows 23% plagiarism, Urkund will show somewhere around 17% plagiarism, because Urkund doesn't have that much reach as Turnitin. But institutionally, Turnitin is preferred because it is available for all the all the universities. That is the idea. Thank you. Yeah, it is about similarity. They give the similarity report. It is not a plagiarism report. So don't think that the UGC has allowed 10% plagiarism or 15% plagiarism or 20% plagiarism. UGC hasn't even allowed 1% plagiarism. But there is a margin, 10% similarity. Certain different universities have different criteria, 10%, 15%, 20%. They will tell you that you can have this much margin. It doesn't mean that you can plagiarize that much. It means that because of the technical problems with these softwares, you are given a 10% to 15% to 20% margin. That is similarity, not plagiarism. Plagiarism is nowhere accepted. UGC will never say that you can plagiarize. No. Checking grammar online. Yeah, there is this Grammarly software. There are certain paraphrasing softwares. But since we are people from English language and literature, it's my personal opinion. Personally, I don't think any of these softwares are good. Grammarly or paraphrasing software or any software that will tell you that it will correct your grammar, all those softwares, there is something called human element, and language is in the province of humanity, is strictly in the province of humanity. So no equipment can replace human being. So I have used Grammarly and I haven't found it very useful, except maybe we make some careless spelling mistakes and Grammarly can show you. But otherwise it will confuse you more, because it will show correct things as error, because the ingenuity and creativity of a human being cannot be understood by a software. If you put certain of Shakespeare's sentences on Grammarly will tell you that those sentences are all wrong. Shakespeare said the most unkindest cut. It will say that This is wrong. This is double superlative. Yeah, we cannot do that, but Shakespeare can do that, right? And in quotations, when we put something within quotes, there will be a lot of errors that Grammarly software will show you. I don't recommend Grammarly to anybody. Use human beings. If you want to check your grammar, first